Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Kendy Diana Putri from English Education Department. My student number is 73. Right now I will present about homeschooling. More parents are now choosing to homeschool instead of sending their children to a public or private schools. Learn more about the homeschooling movement and what is involved when parents educate their kids at home. Homeschooling is a progressive movement around the country and the world in which its parents educate their children at home instead of sending them to a traditional public or private school. Families choose to homeschool for a variety of reasons, including dissatisfaction with the educational option available, different religious or education philosophies, and the belief that children are not progressing within the traditional school structure. The homeschooling movement began growing in the 19th and 70s when some popular authors and researchers such as John Holt and Dorothy and Raymond Moore started writing about educational reform. They suggest homeschooling as an alternative educational option. According to the National Home Education Research Institute, there are now more than 2 million children being homeschooled in the US, with the percentage rapidly increasing each year. Homeschooling is legal in all 50 states and in many foreign countries. Next, what are the requirements for homeschooling your kids? Legal requirements for homeschooling in the US vary from place to place. Some states have few or no requirement, others ask for portfolio review or standardized testing at certain interval. According to Holt, author of the best-selling book Teach Your Own, the most important things parents need to homeschool their children is to like them, enjoy their company, their cycle presence, their energy, foolishness, and patience. They have to enjoy all their talk and questions and enjoy equally trying to answer those questions. For the majority of parents who homeschool, the only prerequisite is the desire to do so along with a dedication to the educational process. Then, how do you get started with homeschooling? In almost all areas of the country, parents do not need an education degree to homeschool. Thus, with young children who have never attended a traditional classroom can begin a home education program when their child turns school age. At that time, they will start adhering to the requirement in their particular state. The process is slightly different for parents who have kids in school already and then decide to homeschool. They must first write a letter of withdrawal to the school principal or local superintendent. The letter should describe the parents' intent to remove a child from school to begin homeschooling. After the notification, parents continue to follow their district-specific guidelines. Next, about tips for making a homeschool schedule. Homeschoolers organize their days in whatever way works best for them. Many begin their schooling early in the morning, as in a traditional school, but some opt to make less distinction between school and home. If a child gets excited about a science experiment before bed, some parents follow the child enthusiasm to see where it leads. This becomes part of school days as well. The educational philosophy a homeschooling family chooses will significantly influence the structure of their days. Most of us are familiar with only one of style education, the traditional system of textbooks, desks, in rows, and standardized testing, but a wide array of educational philosophies exist. These methods include Waldorf, Montessori, Carl Mason, classical, leadership education, interest LED learning, unit study, and more. Homeschoolers have the freedom to blend ideas that best meet their children's needs. You might also be wondering if homeschoolers follow the public school calendar year. In fact, homeschoolers have complete freedom over the structure of their school year. Many follow the traditional school calendar, some school year round, and others take off during specific week when they need breaks. Then about planning a curriculum for homeschooling. The rapid increase in the number of homeschoolers has resulted in wide variety of available curricula and research. Catalogs are filled with a plethora of options based on different educational philosophies, learning approaches, the amount of time a homeschool teacher should devote to daily instruction, and so on. Subjects typically taught include the standard disciplines followed in a traditional school program, as well as those that capitalize on the children's interests. In his best-selling book, The Element, Ken Robinson writes that the key to educational transformation is not to standardize education, but to personalize it, to build achievement on discovering the individual talents of each child, to put students in an environment where they want to learn and where they can naturally discover their true passion. A homeschooling atmosphere provides a natural setting in which parents can deliver an individualist method of instruction that match their child's unique interests, ability, and learning style. Next, about homeschooling FAQ. Here are some commonly asked questions about homeschooling your children. The first is, are homeschool kids more behind or ahead than public school kids? One of the advantages of homeschooling is that students can progress according to their own temperament and timetable. In a study done by the National Home Education Research Institute, homeschoolers had an average standard test score in the 87 percentile compared to the average score in 50 percentile by children in public school. They could thus be several grades ahead in certain subjects but behind in others. Second is, does the state fund any homeschool program? Government fund programs vary widely from state to state, but the majority of homeschooling families fund their children's studies themselves. In certain areas, enrollment in a state-based program is optional. In that case, the state pays for specific research in exchange for the homeschool meeting certain requirement to remain in the program. The third, does the state fund any homeschool programs? Is there a network of parents who homeschoolers in most state regions have access to an array of research and social networks. In addition to forming co-ops in which families group together to have classes, there are social events such as lectures, field trips, art classes, music instruction, sport and play dates. Next, what happens if the parents sick? One of homeschooling's biggest advantage is the flexibility it offers. A sick parent can still ensure that the most essential aspect of the day work get accomplished, providing instruction from bed if necessary. Group work that require the sick parent's direct involvement may be cancelled for the day, but the parent could still supervise any individual work the child needs to do, like penmanship or reading beside mom in bed. Into parents' family, but parents can contribute according to their schedules. Do homeschool kids receive homework? How do they receive object grades? Okay, in many ways, homeschooling lessens the need for traditional homework often required by school, particularly for elementary school age kids. Without 20 or more children in one class, schoolwork can often be complete in shorter time frame during the school day, eliminating the need for extra work afterward. Acting as one-on-one tutor, the parent-teacher constantly observes the children as they learn. This direction observation allows a parent to keep track of a child's proficiency in our struggles. Assignments are then tailored accordingly. Homeschool children, especially as they grow older, often attend more traditional classes, giving them experience in completing more typical homework assignments. Some public schools allow homeschoolers to attend certain classes that they choose. As they get older, homeschool kids may enroll in community college classes and begin their college studies early. In certain subjects are not always needed. Many families do administer grade tests, some through computer programs. The homeschooling environment allows children to progress at their own pace until they have mastered the necessary materials. Okay, I think that's all about my presentation. I hope it's useful for you all. Thank you so much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.